someone that's carnal, it's been proven so, teaches doctrines of demons, has no understanding. It's trapping people and leading them into judgment. They will become just like that man, some version of that. Blind leading the blind, because they don't want you to go to the Father and ask for truth. They call that mystical. They hate truth. So there was a new video that popped up, and I'm going to have to unsubscribe. It's over. Can't be one with carnal. Strangely enough, even though we believe in the salvation of all, there's nobody that hates evil more than the believers and stays away from them and aren't one with them. Isn't that something? The very accusation of, if everyone's saved, why do anything? Why stop sinning? Why do this? Why do that? Why separate from the wicked and all these things? And yet the believer still wants to do that constantly, because that's what they care about. That's what their focus is, life. I was drawn in, tempted, because I was subscribed to this thing and a video popped up, and sadly the person's talking about bubbles in his bread. He's gotten me to understand something, that keeping the commandments, if there's zero understanding in the heart, is one of the biggest hypocrisies that anyone could ever do. It's worse than unbelief hypocrisy, because that's supposed to represent something pure, good, righteous. And if that's not inside, we're talking about bubbles on the bread and saying, it's not leaven, don't worry guys, I'm righteous, I eat clean bread. I don't know what purge out the old leaven means. I teach that my God tortures people for all eternity, and I'm a carnal man teaching carnal things and commanding people to start keeping commandments left and right now. Forget our Father teaching us and cleansing our heart daily. And then when the understanding's actually coming and doing these things, it could keep this commandment without hypocrisy. Constant hypocrisy. Just picture this for a second. So someone doesn't eat unleavened bread or eats unleavened bread for the 7 days, and they got nothing but leaven and malice and wickedness in their heart. Can you see that? That's some serious hypocrisy. I would quickly say, don't keep that commandment. Don't do it till you know what it means, and the heart is starting to do these things. Then when the Spirit is saying, look, you're starting to understand this, you could keep this commandment without being a hypocrite. Doesn't that make sense? Because his truth always makes sense. If you know what the Sabbath is meaning, resting from our works, then you can do this thing and not be a hypocrite, and the outside is matching the inside, and it's all one, and then it's a good thing. Then it's a good thing. Then it's his righteousness working in us, see, and then it's a good thing. So what value is it to talk about bubbles in the bread? Doesn't it sound like I'm trashing when it sounds like what it sounds with Paul the apostle, with how the whole church world, when it starts sounding like that, then you got the understanding, because that's the exact same problem he was dealing with. People, carnal Jews, they're controlling, and they want you to keep these commandments all at once and do all these things. You're not righteous like us. We keep all, and they don't even do the earthly things right. Like the Pharisees, for example, added who knows how many things to the Sabbath. Thing, we don't go from the outside and say, I got to do this, and if I don't, I'm not. No, he cares about the heart. always has, but the power was never available until the kingdom of heaven forward, building up his kingdom, Messiah forward for the kingdom, building his stones, precious stones, Jerusalem. Um, and that's what the believer starts doing. But to these prideful carnal Jews, they're going to, especially in the beginning, they might, oh, they look like sinners. They're not doing this, they're not doing that. And their heart's truly doing certain things, but they don't look like it on the outside yet, see? So they're evil. But they, making sure that they polish that cup daily with, I don't know, mother's polish until their hand is broken. But the inside is full of dead men's bones. When someone's carnal, we're full of malice, lust, deceit, blinding, teaching people lies and going into destruction. Such a good thing not to have to worry about doing your own works. It doesn't mean we don't do anything. You know, some carnal person make this claim. Doesn't mean we sit in a chair and do nothing, you know. It's like you have to explain every little thing to a carnal person. We trust he's going to do the works. We're not sitting there thinking we're righteous because we did something. In fact, all that goes on in my mind all day long is how I wish I could do this better constantly. And it's no good enough, and I'm not good enough. I can't do it. Help me. Send help. Ryan's in trouble. These people, though, they're not. And if they break one of these outer things, like even a little bit, oh, I pray to my false Messiah, I guess, for forgiveness and utter forgiveness for breaking this thing. Can't we see how worthless it is if we're not doing it in the heart? And that if someone's doing this in the heart, could judge someone that has a commandment that they're keeping as it's written, like Paul says. He's trying to bring out that point that, look, this person's heart is changing by the power of our Creator that can only be from him and through Messiah, no one else. And they can judge someone's malice, wickedness in the heart, even though they look good on the outside, even keeping commandments and things, see? And at the same time, if someone really is understanding this commandment, purging out the leaven, eating unleavened bread to, you know, purge it out, like physically, it's not going to do anything spiritually. Our Messiah wasn't confused. The Father taught him, flesh profits nothing. Not confused. He knows that physical bread can't do anything for our heart. You know, eat as much Taco Bell and burgers as you want. That's not going to make you spiritual. And yet at the same time, we don't do away with the commandments, see? Don't do away with them. How can someone say, I keep this commandment, but then they don't keep it? You know? But see, there's that important thing to understand. Important thing is to be interrupted, is that that's their only understanding. That's it. That's what a carnal man is. They cannot hear. Literally, don't think they can hear. They can't hear your words. They can't hear Messiah's words. So I would never say someone break the commandments, you know, but I know how it's been for my life. It would be utter foolishness if I started doing all these commandments, like literally keeping them all. And then all this time, like I need a lot of work, you know, all these years. But it does make sense that when the heart is matured to a certain point, then it starts seeing certain things and caring about certain things, and then it starts doing it, knowing it's not in full-blown hypocrisy, you know. So we're reduced to talking about bubbles in the bread. It's carnal and Ted, you know. That's teaching the children of Israel, carnal children. It's teaching them something, and they couldn't learn it. Well, they carnal, and they didn't rely. All the many called, they didn't rely on any understanding. Nobody had this understanding. Messiah is the firstborn from the dead. We can't forget that. This is not a lie. The firstborn from what? The literal dead? we'd have a massive problem if that was what it's saying. It's not. But it is, he is first of the spiritual dead to see things. The disciples started to see things that the prophets could not. That's what that means. Finally, there's an answer for those that care about truth. What on earth does this mean? What did they see that they didn't see? What's a carnal man's answer that they saw? That what, literal miracles or something? They saw the Red Sea get split. That is the understanding. They started to see these spiritual things that they did not see. It wasn't their fault. He didn't judge them according to that. Judge them according to doing the Father's will, keeping the commandments as they're written, you know. I don't murder. I'm a good man. This was good. I don't commit literal adultery, or, you know, this is good. It's not good today. It's not good today, understanding that someone could be committing adultery 24/7 while they don't do it in the flesh. Understanding that someone's heart can be full of murder 24/7 while they don't kill someone literally, see? See how that commandment is like a big sad face, like I like to say. It's a sad face. It's worthless when we murder in our heart. The very thing our Father does care about, that's what he's teaching us. This is very important, see? So yes, murder is a sin, but that's what the favor is for. Because we're not going to be able to just, boom, we're done. You know, that's what the carnal man's like, requiring it of everyone. They really do that and have that heart, you know, and they try to hide that. You know, spiritual will see right through it. They can't hide it good enough. No, they can't hide it good enough to see that that's what's going on. They're doing exactly what the Pharisees did. Do this now, do this and this and this, then Messiah. At the end, when you do all these things first, literally, it's what the man teaches, which makes me sick, because I know that's the very thing that we read of in the New Testament with Paul's letters, battling against these carnal Jews that have, you know, the kingdom of heaven came in that a Father and Messiah in us, teaching us these spiritual things for the new covenant age. It's an age. And the carnality got left behind, you know. Can't be like that anymore. The carnal Jerusalem is not looked at with anything today. He destroyed it and made it official. Only New Jerusalem. New is the new wine and the new wineskin. New spiritual, new creation, which has nothing to do with carnal. This new creation wasn't available until Messiah forward. New creation in Messiah. It's like the Father revealing himself a little bit more, and then a little bit more, you know, and then more and more, you know, throughout the ages. Whereas nobody was filled with this very same spirit with power, you know, understood these things. Can you believe it? It's hard to believe, but it's true. By default, nobody has this understanding. We don't have it. It's got to be given. And I think believers, true believers for few years, it's kind of hard to believe, because he's been given this, and it's like we forget that it's actually been given maybe a little bit, but it really has been given to see. They don't see these things, don't think they see them. They can see spiritual things as much as a horse can. That would be us too, until he started teaching us. We're just as spiritual as pigs, you know. That's it. Brute beast in Jude scriptures, you know, teach that man is beast. It's a riddle. Who is the number? Who's the beast? Can you see him? Can you find him? What's his number? Who is he? Created mankind on day 6 with the brute beast, same day, 6. Who makes these carnal kingdoms? So then they kept rebuilding what the Father destroyed. The church world's carnal, not spiritual. It's the synagogues of Satan because of this carnality. And most of them just do away with the commandments utterly. I mean, this is like painfully obviously wrong, but they're the same kind of carnal, where they have their own righteous laws or traditions in their mind, and that makes them a good person for doing. You know, I give a lot. I do this a lot. Very thing Messiah said, don't sound the trumpet. Do these things in secret and he'll reward you openly. How can that mean anything to carnal man? Well, it can't, because they don't have his spirit. They don't know what reward is. Reward is just receiving a house or a dog or money, something like that. You know, that's the reward. So it's painfully evident then that when they talk about bubbles in their bread, and that's literally all the video is about, is just physical bread. This is a righteous law, and I'm a righteous man because I keep this righteous law, and you have to keep the 613, give or take, commandments. That'll make you righteous, and when you do that first, Messiah will come and help you remember. Wow, he's spitting in his face, waving a fist and spitting in our Messiah's face, man. That's what that is, but he will never admit it. Never, never, not in this life, not during this life, until judgment. Messiah will help you remember. After me, God keeps all these righteous commandments first and does them all. Then, that's what he literally, word for word, teaches and says. Probably would even deny it if I brought it up like he has. Deny those very words that he does say. Isn't that something? No, we believe because of the true faith and belief in Messiah. That's what it is. Grafted in, not by our own righteousness, no. And then he's gently leading us, his people, to pasture, to life. This is what righteousness. I'll show you while they're all confused. See this? See that? Don't follow them. Follow me. You know what I'm doing? You follow me. Don't worry about all the carnal people trying to go in through some wide gate, Satan's wide gate. But they don't see that even Paul gave us so many clues of the spiritual understanding of some of these laws. Purge out the old leaven of wickedness and malice. And, you know, something about keeping the feast without hypocrisy. He's talking about the heart, you know. It's what he's really going at. He's saying, do this without hypocrisy. How many people heard those words? Not many. Not many. It's amazing. It's mind-numbing. The power of our Creator. It's amazing. The blinding, the stubbornness, the devil, what he does. Amazing. They won't change. They won't see it. You know, these things are nothing. These understandings are nothing when we can't see this. The blinding. We can't see blinding if we're blind. There has to be an unblinding, and then there's a contrast. You go, wow. Look at this guy over here with his prideful look, winking at people. Man, that's how bad I was. Wow. That is disgusting. Gross. Please help me not to be like that. Help me not to be wicked. Every day. Every day. Don't want to be like this. Wickedness, man. Prideful and self-righteous. It's an ugly thing. Man, horses can't be righteous, you know? They just do what horses do. That's it. So man can't be righteous. I don't think I have time right now, but in Proverbs it says, you see anyone that's wise who thinks he's wise in his own eyes? Proverbs, whoever's wise in his own, yes, a fool has more understanding than them. And then there's a couple places with the apostles' letters that says, does anyone think they're wise in their own mind? Let them become fools. That's how bad it is to believe we're our own wisdom. let them become fools quickly. Better become fools to this world. Then you'll be wise, because the Father's wisdom is given. The wisdom they call mystical. All right, peace. Take care. Seek truth.